can get straight into everything and start building out this second step of this process where we're going to be connecting with potential target markets with cold audiences. Now, you do want to make sure that you have an audience prepared of some sort. So within your audiences tab, you can take a look at what audiences you already have ready there. And you can also research new audiences within the Audience Insights tab. So if you're not quite familiar with how the Audience Insights tab works, you can find some resources on this inside of your class guide as well. So I'm not going to go too much into this at this stage, but just know that this is a really powerful way for you to search new cold audiences based on interests and behaviors and demographics of your target audience. And we will look at some more advanced tips for narrowing down your audiences for your campaigns in a later lesson. But for now, just know that this is where I would go to actually create my cold audiences to then use for this next step of my connect phase, where I want to actually show this awesome video that's got all this amazing social proof from my audience to some new cold audiences to educate them about myself and my business and really get those video views going, so that at the next stage, the commit stage, I can then retarget the video viewers and ask for their email address in exchange for a free offer. So we're now going to go ahead and select create, and we're just going to choose a slightly different objective at this stage. So we're going to be choosing video views instead of engagement, because really that's what we want at this stage. And we're going to be copying over our ad set and our ad from the previous campaign, so we don't have to worry about creating that for now. I'm just going to click on skip ad set and skip ad. It's just a really blank campaign with this new objective, and I'm just going to go ahead and close this for now and create a draft item for now. And now I just want to come in here and select this ad set, and I would duplicate it. I can go in and create it from scratch as well, but in this case, I would just come in here and put it into my brand new campaign, duplicate that, and that's fine. I'm going to go in and make sure everything looks good. So now we're within this new campaign. Obviously, this is going to be slightly different. So we're going to be optimizing for video views here, still on Facebook, and we're going to be using a new audience, which is going to be my female entrepreneur association. I might actually use the full word, otherwise it's going to be weird. And yeah, I'm still happy to keep that at $5 a day. Really, the only difference in this case is going to be that we're going to be using a saved audience. So I could use my Female Entrepreneur Association, which is really just people living in these countries within this age range with these languages, and the only interest we're targeting at this stage is Female Entrepreneur Association. So that's a size of almost 700,000 people. I'm really happy with that as a really good baseline. I usually try and push that to about 1 million, just because this objective is quite cheap, so it can get used up quite quickly, but that's still a really solid amount of people. And the placements I would keep as Facebook newsfeed, but in this case, we could also test out the Facebook video feed, because at this stage, our objective is video views, not just post engagement. So anything to do with video views that can ramp up our video views can be a positive thing. You can then test out how that's performing for you, but that's one that I like to use in addition to the newsfeed. And then the last thing you want to do is just jump into the actual ad and update this to make sure that it is on par with what's at your ad set level. You do not have to use caps. By the way, I don't usually use caps. I don't know why I'm using caps here, but it's quite aggressive, so I do apologize for that. So use normal lingo if you want, but also using acronyms. So normally I would just use FEA as this targeting, because I know this audience works pretty well for me, but just for you guys, I wanted to type out the whole word. But definitely use acronyms whenever possible, because it's going to make it a lot cleaner for you to do your reporting. It looks good in both placements, and I would just go ahead and publish that. All right, so that's it. We would basically turn this off for now, but it's ready, it's there. It's going to get reviewed by Facebook. We would start running this until the frequency gets a little bit too high, and then we would turn this off and turn this one on and start running that to our cold audience. And in this particular campaign, you could have different ad sets. So this is just one is just to get as many video views on this one video as possible that you can then retarget in the next stage. So this is the cheapest tactic at this stage, and it can be a really great way for you to build up an audience of people who are watching your video, engaging with your content. Build your social media followers as well, and then test which cold audiences are responding to your content. But if you do want to go one step further at this connect stage, you can also run some ads for the traffic objective that will lead people directly to reading some educational content on your website, and you can retarget them that way. But once again, at this stage, you're not asking for anything in return. You are just asking people to read a helpful article or check out a podcast episode because you know that they're going to like it based on their current interest that you're targeting off of Facebook. So let's take a look at how Emily from Hirsch Marketing does this. So Emily's Connect strategy is to run ads that promote 5 of her podcast episodes. But the key here is to note that they're also not the latest podcast episodes. They kind of range from episode 208 all the way to 254. So these are likely just her best performers, or maybe ones that are really, really aligned with what she's looking to promote within her commit stage, which is the next stage we'll be looking at. And another brilliant thing about these examples here is that they're not fancy videos. They're literally just sort of handheld videos using her iPhone while she's walking around. And that is perfect for this stage because you really want people to get to know you and connect with you. No sort of fancy gimmicks required at this stage.